Hello, and welcome to the channel. And a happy new year to everyone. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I'm very thankful you're all enjoying the series so far. As always, little intro just in case this is your first video. We're making a Hatsune Miku design for each element and region of Genshin Impact. In the spirit of gacha, we're choosing the region, element, and weapon at random and creating a splash art of the final design. With the explanations out of the way, it's time for the Gachapon to give us our prompts. And for this Miku, our prompts are... Electro, Mondstadt, and Claymore. Mondstadt. Genshin's very first region and its most nostalgic. It's the region of animo and freedom and is inspired by Germany with some other European and Germanic cultures sprinkled in. It's also the region with the most clear association with music, with its city having a lot of bards, including its Archon, Barbatos, moonlighting as a bard named Venti. With all that in mind, I wanted to make this Miku reference her classic design a bit more. At first, I wanted her to be a huge fan of Barbara, a prominent idol in Mondstadt and the deaconess of the Church of Favonius. I know, kind of a weird combo. The idea was that she'd taken over Barbara's fan club, and after a failed attempt to join the church to sing alongside her idol, she'd decided to become an idol herself in hopes of collaborating with her one day. But I scrapped the idea fairly quickly because parasocial superfan Miku was a bit too much for my taste. I took the route of her being inspired by Barbara to pursue a music career and trying to make a name for herself in Mond's music scene. It felt more organic and less like her whole identity revolved around a pre-existing character. I gave her a megaphone, a reference to the classic Vocaloid song Love is War. At first it was linked to the whole fan club idea, but after I scrapped it, it became more of a gimmick she uses for her music. Because Mondstadt is the least technologically advanced of all the nations of Teyvat, I decided to make the megaphone a little more old-timey rather than following the more modern look it has in Love is War. I struggled a lot trying to figure out her design. I had a basic idea, of course, the classic Miku look, but with Mond fashion, and I also wanted her to have a bit of disheveled hair, but I could not find something that matched what I had in mind. So, I had the brilliant idea of taking inspiration from Japanese fashion magazines from the early 2000s, specifically the more alternative looking outfits. It helped me decide where I wanted to take the design. I ended up really liking the look of Punk Lolita and snuck a teeny tiny bit of it into her design. Once I was finally happy with her design, the burst was pretty straightforward. Since I decided to give her a megaphone, I wanted her to use it. The idea of her screaming into it like in Love is War and creating these electric sound waves was super vivid in my head. Its effect would leave enemies stunned, a similar gimmick to Zhongli's burst's petrifying effect, but rather than turning into stone, opponents would have a stun animation, kind of like when you take out the shield of an Abyss Mage. It probably would be a hassle to give every single enemy in-game a stun animation, but thankfully for Hoyoverse, Electro Miku will never exist and they never have to worry about doing that. In terms of personality, she's super lively and high-spirited. She can never stay still for very long, either fidgeting or swaying back and forth. People like to joke that it's her electro vision giving her too much energy. She puts most of that energy into her music. I don't have an exact idea of the style of music she'd perform, only that it's loud, so feel free to suggest ideas in the comments. It would definitely be something very out there compared to Mond's musical style, and actually now that I think about it, that's kinda similar to Xinyan's whole deal. But with her being the only rock artist in Liyue and being seen as weird and her style too noisy and unappealing to classic sensibilities. I like to think that the people of Mond would be a little more open to new things, and Miku wouldn't have to deal with that much pushback. She's definitely the type of person people find a bit odd, but not unapproachable. But she can be a bit overwhelming to be around with how energetic and fidgety she gets. An aspect of her design I'm not sure reads that well in the splash art is her lopsided pigtails. One is set higher than the other, with the color of her shirt mimicking that uneven look as well. I feel like it perfectly showcases her personality. A little bit chaotic, but not really messy. And here's our Miku. For her burst, she pulls out her megaphone and screams, creating a powerful burst of electro damage to opponents around her and stunning them for a few seconds. For her normal attacks, she does 4 consecutive strikes with her claymore. For her elemental skill, she charges up her claymore with electro and swings it at opponents, creating a huge electro slash and dealing a large amount of electro damage. Sorry for interrupting my own video like this, but I've been thinking about this for days and I have nowhere else in the video to put it, so I'm adding it here. But I like to imagine she'd either be a burst damage DPS or a battery character, with her elemental skill creating lots of particles. Okay, that's all I had to say. I'll take my leave and I'll let y'all watch the rest of the video. Adios! Electro Miku is a newcomer to Mondstadt's musical scene and trying to make a name for herself. Despite being inspired by Barbara to pursue a music career, her style is very different from her idols, being very loud and high energy, making her a bit of an oddball in Mond. She doesn't really mind the stares, happy to perform and be herself. Her high energy can be overwhelming for some, especially when she pulls out her megaphone during her performances, but she has managed to endear herself to others and find a small niche for herself. And there we go! This Miku was a bit of a struggle at first, but surprisingly, she's the only one I haven't felt like changing or adding anything to her design since I drew her. I guess if I must nitpick the design, maybe I could have added more Punk Lolita inspiration, or just Lolita inspiration in general. I honestly have nothing to say. I executed her perfectly to my vision. Good job, me. Anyways, what do you guys think of her design? Would you pull for her if she were real? What type of music do you think she performs? Please share your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. It's always a blast reading your thoughts on my designs. I'm starting to get a lot of comments, so I can't promise I'll reply to everyone, but I read them all and I try to heart them all as well. Thanks everyone for your support, and if you don't want to miss the next Miku design, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified once I post the next video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!